How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here and welcome to today's video where we are of course looking at the brand new season for World of Tanks console. This is the War Heroes season and this is definitely going to be a very interesting one. We've got some new vehicles, we've got all of the new content for the season pass, which is of course the rank 100 rewards and stuff like that, which gives you some premium tanks, and we've also got all of the information regarding some of the stuff that we'll be getting in the upcoming time, as well as of course the Italian TDs coming out later in the month, as long as that they are actually coming out on schedule. So it's looking like a very interesting season. We're going to cover all of the news that you need to know, some of the additional extras. Of course, right now you can take advantage of the ×2 silver boost, 1.5 times silver boost that you can get for every 1000 XP that you can get, which is the silver with interest operation. And of course you can go and check out the video dedicated to that if you're interested in finding out how you can get like 10 times the silver that you normally would, and be able to get like 2 million silver in one game. But either way, let's get into the season information, and of course let's get started. So first things first, this starts on Tuesday. So as of the recording of this video, it is the following, well, the Tuesday coming. So that is June 6th. So when it arrives on Tuesday, it will be the War Heroes season. So we'll be able to replace the current one that we have, which is the Gladiator season. And this one comes with a whole load of things. So let's first have a look at what these things are, because there are a few premium tanks that are brand new. There's also some more information. So let's zoom quickly in so you guys can have a look. So on the screen right now, we have all of the different stuff that you can get as part of this. So they've kind of accumulated everything so you can see more easily which things that you're going to get, which is the season pass and stuff like that. So first things first, the ultimate season pass. So what comes with the ultimate season pass? Well, this is the T58 Heavy, which we'll get into. We'll cover all of the premium tanks later on, but I just want to give you an idea as to what it is. Season passes typically cost about 6,500 if you want to get the ultimate season pass. So 6,000 gold for the ultimate. You've got 2,000 for the standard one, and of course the free one is, as you'd expect, free. But what do you get with the ultimate one? Well, you get the T58 Heavy, which is a tier 10, so of course very cheap for a tier 10 premium tank, and you will never be able to buy it as cheap usually ever again. So I mean, it is definitely worth it if you are interested in picking up the tank. If you're not, don't bother going out and buying it. Either way, yeah, the ultimate season pass comes with that. It also comes with a 3D commander, which is Leonard Hill, and then there is also 25 levels already completed as well. So as soon as you start, you'll start on rank 25 basically. Or if you've already done a little bit of the season and say you got five levels at the beginning, and then you purchase the ultimate season pass, you'll get 25 additional ones, so you will be on level 30. So you know, it just adds 25 from wherever you are. So it's really good, and of course you get all of the rewards from the previous one. So I mean, if you're going to be playing this game quite a lot, you know, 6,000 gold isn't the worst thing to see, but you can make your own mind up as to whether or not you think it's worth it for you. Then of course we have the season pass, and the season pass comes with basically the majority of things that the ultimate season pass has, but it doesn't come with everything, and the rewards are as follows. So first things first is silver, so you can get 4.4 million silver when you do have just the standard season pass. You'll get 2,100 gold, so it covers the value of the gold that you can get. So this is the cumulative reward. So 2,100 gold back, which means you can purchase the next season. So essentially everything in here is for free. Essentially, other than maybe if you purchase this the gold in the first place. But 2,000 gold is what it costs originally. You'll get an extra 100 gold plus all of the rewards in here. Then you get 11 days of premium time, which is good. You'll get 6 times 2 vehicle XP boosters, 6 times 4 commander XP boosters, 14 times 1.25 silver boosters, which you can use at those sort of events like we've got going on right now. You've got 9 cosmetic vouchers, so that's for camo, flags, inscriptions, that sort of stuff. You've got 25 standard consumables, you've got 44 premium consumables, you've got 4 key cards which are essentially guaranteed gold, one of them being a top secret key card, which gives you a guarantee of like 800 gold, so you'll probably end up making about 1,500 gold, and you have the possibility of getting a premium tank out of these as well, so it's really, really good. You get 9 themed emblems, 4 vehicle slots, 1 Britannia Panther, so this is the tier 6 premium German vehicle, I believe off the top of my head, but we'll do a review on each of the season pass tanks. We've got the M636 Pattern Korea, which is a tank I actually really quite enjoyed. It's a tier 8 American medium. You got the Guardian STG, which was kind of lackluster. I wasn't particularly a big fan of that, but that is actually part of the free rewards, so it's the only premium vehicle that you'll get as part of the free rewards, but it's there. And then you've got the M636 Condor, which is the top tier rank 100 reward that you get with the actual paid season pass. So yeah, not a bad one, and of course we'll get into those tanks in just a second. So there's a lot of content in here. Of course the free ones, you can pause the video and you can have a look at it yourself, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with the diversity of rewards. We've got some in here that I'm don't think that we've had before as rewards. I think we've had the Guardian STG as a free reward before, so kind of a bit annoying to see it again, but it's in there anyway. And yeah, it's nice to see the M636 Korean pattern and the Britannia Panther in here, as well as that Condor. But let's actually have a look at some of the additional benefits of the season pass. I feel like I'm just shilling at this point. I'm not genuinely, if you don't have the money, don't go spending it on World of Tanks. But all I'm saying is that if you are going to spend any money on World of Tanks, this is probably the thing you want to spend it on, because it gives you so much value back for what you put into it. So yeah, definitely the best thing that you can do. But when you complete level 100, you'll get 25% more vehicle XP. So straight off the bat, as soon as you reach level 100, you'll get 25% more XP. You'll also get 25% more commander XP when you get a further 18 levels. So in the season pass, you've got 100 levels, but in theory, you've got like 124 levels that actually give you like rewards. Although for the majority of those ones above level 100, you're not getting anything. So essentially, you reach rank 100, that stops the majority of rewards. Then when you get to 118, you get a 25% commander boost or XP boost. And then when you reach 124, you'll get the 25% silver boost. So essentially, yeah, once you reach 124, it's kind of pointless getting any extra levels on the season pass. But you can get up to like 300, 400, 600. I've seen people at some of the season passes, but of course depends on how much you play and how many of the challenges you complete. But yeah, definitely very easy to complete it. But we also have the starter pack, so this always comes out at the beginning. Usually it's free, which is once again something that is free. So essentially all you have to do is go to the store section within World of Tanks itself on PlayStation or Xbox or whatever you're playing on. You just go over and you can purchase it in the in-game store. And that is essentially, it's usually part of like the bundles or like deals. It will just be registered as whatever your currency is and then 0.00. So it doesn't cost you anything, but that's the way in which they usually do it. So essentially just gives you like 5 lots of the boosters, each type of booster, and then 3 days of premium as well. So it's a nice little bonus to have, and the boosters are quite nice to have on your account. But there is also the season pass tanks. If you own any of them already, obviously there are 2 that aren't actually available, so you cannot have them before then. You will get the silver equivalent back for the ones that are possible to get if you've already got them. So for example, if you have the Guardian STG, you'll get 5 million silver. If you've got the Britannia Panther, you'll basically get 1.5 million. If you've got the pattern Korean or the Korean pattern, you'll get the 3.5 million silver. So it's nice to have if you already own them. Then we've got the M636 Condor. So this starts the actual tanks themselves. So you can see here, this is what the Condor looks like. Kind of, it almost is what I would say looks like a bit of the Panzer 58 Mutz, if that makes sense. It kind of looks that sort of style. kind of mixed with a Czechoslovakian tank almost, where you got that big hull armor that doesn't particularly look like it has a ton of armor, but from the looks of it, it doesn't look like it does actually have that much armor. But once again, unfortunately, Wargaming don't provide us with the little armor characteristics values to show us what the armor is, because for all I know, the green part is 500 millimeters thick, and then the blue part is slightly less than that. But, you know, it doesn't really show us a whole lot. Looks like the side is paper. It looks like a paper tank, but we'll have to wait and see. We can have a look at the tank characteristics. So, starting straight off the bat, we have got 65% bonus silver, which is nice. It's an Era 1 tank. We have 10% tank XP and 10% more commander XP. You've got 2,000 hit points, which is okay, nothing spectacular. Power to weight of 18.26, which is good, but nothing outstanding. 45 kilometers an hour top speed is okay. It looks very average so far, albeit the 65% bonus silver. Hull traverse and turret traverse, not particularly insane. You got 7 degrees of gun depression, yet again, nothing insane. 223 millimeters of pen with 280 damage, nothing insane. Just feels like Wargaming going with the very average vehicle for this one. But we have got aim time of 2 seconds. You've got accuracy of 0.29, which is good. Definitely very good. Reload of 6 seconds, so you've got a damage per minute of 2,800, which is okay. Yet again, is probably higher up there on the list of tanks in this era having good DPM, but it's nothing outstanding. And then, of course, just the standard that you'd expect with a good view range of 490 meters base. Obviously, everything can be boosted up, and you'll see yourself with damage per minute looking around 3,400 if you've got all of the perks and equipment and stuff that you can put on here, but it is all about that silver bonus by the looks of things with this. I don't think it's going to be outrageous, but it could be an interesting one. And yeah, it's an Eastern Alliance premium, which is nice to see since we've been having a lot of Western Alliance premiums recently. So yeah, nice to see them returning back with this one, the Condor. But yeah, let me know what you think about this one. But probably more interesting out of all of them is the T58 Heavy. Now, what does the T58 Heavy have? Well, this is a very, very strange one, and that wouldn't be a 750 damage, 2,250 damage clip T57 Heavy, would it? Well, it is, and this is what it looks like. It looks actually obscene, and I'm a little bit scared with how this is going to play in game. It's scary when Wargaming start to experiment with 2,250 alpha, but you know, you can see it behind me. This is what the tank looks like. And it looks like it's got this massive bulbous turret. I don't know if they're going to provide us with an arm model, so it looks like they do. Hull armor looks pretty decent. You've got this turret armor, very flat cheeks though, as we'd expect with the T57 Heavy. So I have no idea if this is actually going to be really thick armor because they don't provide us with the actual millimeters. But if I'm going to hazard a guess, it will probably be very easy to pen because it's quite flat. And you'd be expecting to be able to pen this thing, especially if it's dealing 750 damage to you. But looks like they've kind of removed some of that sloping, the kind of trollish nature of the actual turret. Of course, if you hit the mantlet, it looks like you'll just basically bounce because it's very well angled. And so, yeah, I don't think you're going to really bounce off of pen the actual mantlet unless you're looking at it from the side where you can basically go in through the side of it. But looks very interesting. It's kind of like it's like as if you took an ST1, combined it with a T57 Heavy turret, and then gave it the Waffle E100 750 Alpha gun, which is not particularly very fun, and then plonked it on top of a American hull armor. So yeah, very, very strange, and I'm not entirely sure if this is spaced armor. So I'm hoping it isn't spaced armor, and that in order to pen this thing, you have to go through this and the armor behind it, but you never know with Wargaming. If they do that, it would be, not particularly very fun to play up against, as the turret is probably very strong, and the cupolas look pretty difficult to actually be able to hit, although they are there and will be weak points, and of course the American hull armor pretty easy to pen, to be honest with you. So I'm not really expecting a whole lot from the armor, unless of course this is actually space, so just stay tuned for that. But let's actually have a look at the statistics of the vehicle, because it could be trash. So let's see. First things first, doesn't get any silver bonus. Then it has 2,250 hit points, so you know, it's okay, nothing outrageous. You've got a top speed of 35 kilometers an hour, which is fairly slow, as you'd expect from a tank that has 2,250 clip potential. You got 14 power to weight ratio is okay, decent. It's not awful, but I mean, it's nowhere near spectacular, and you're going to be pretty slow. Hull and turret traverse of 30 degrees a second, so pretty slow. I mean, it's going to take you 6 seconds to do a full rotation of your tank when actually turning the turret at the same time, or 12 seconds to fully traverse just the hull armor if you had your barrel looking exactly straight for the entire time. So quite a while. Gun depression of 8 degrees, it's good. 12 degrees of gun elevation, very lackluster, but then again the 57 Heavy is the exact same way. You've got 750 alpha with 2.9 second aim time, so quite a long aim time. 0.35 accuracy is very good. And that means that your reload time is 33 seconds, so it's quite a long reload. And of course you've got an intra-clip reload, so between each shell, 7.5 seconds. And this is what is going to ruin this tank, I think. Because you wait 33 seconds and then you have to wait 7.5 seconds between each of the shells, which means that when you want to deal that 2,250 damage, you are going to have to be waiting 15 seconds. Now that doesn't seem outrageously like, oh my god, it's the worst thing in the world, but it's not good, because it means the majority of tanks that you try and hit and track or deal damage and track or whatever, you're not going to be able to hit them multiple times, is essentially what it's going to be. And you're going to have to come up in a scenario where there are multiple tanks in front of you, and if you hit one and they retreat, you can hit someone else as soon as you're reloaded. Otherwise, this tank's DPM goes through the floor and ends up being absolutely useless. Which is what I think that this tank is going to be, because it'll be one of those that is very annoying to play against because it has 750 alpha and is going to reload in 7.5 seconds, so it's boring to come up against, but it's also very boring to play because for the majority of players, someone that doesn't know how to play an autoloader, and certainly someone who doesn't know how to play an autoloader with such a long intra-clip reload, is going to struggle with this thing. And I just don't think it's going to be outrageously good because of the fact of that intra-clip reload. I mean, on console, compared to PC, for example, the longest reload we have is like probably 1.5 times longer than any of the other tanks on PC. So yeah, it's a very long reload, which makes it almost kind of pointless to have the autoloader, because you're waiting 33 seconds and then you can't really take advantage of it. And I'd much rather just have the option to have this, but with a single shot of 750 that reloads in, say, I don't know, 18 or 19 seconds to be able to deal the damage, and that way, you know, it's just consistent. Saying that, the tank is probably going to be okay. Shell velocity's crap at 870 with the AP, 826 with the heat, which is awful, and HE with 717. So sniping with this tank basically not going to happen other than with the accuracy, because of the fact the shells just travel so slow. It's going to be difficult to hit targets on the move from any distance, which is good because it's not supposed to be a sniping tank, and I've seen enough 57 Heavies sniping at the back of the base for 1 shell of damage in the game. So it'd be nice not to see another one doing that. But yeah, overall, penetration wise, fantastic for this tank, but it isn't going to be outrageous. I'm very interested to play it, and we'll do a review of this as soon as I get my hands on it. And this will be the first review that we do, and then we'll look at the Cold War vehicle. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what you guys actually think about this, because for me, I mean, it looks okay, but it isn't, yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I think it'll be an interesting one for sure. But of course, then we move on to the hero skin. So you can get the Balkan Pine hero skin for the Condor, which looks really cool. You've then got the new season commander here, Leonard Lucky Hill. You can see him. So that looks pretty cool. I mean, it's nice to have, but, you know, once again, as I always say, I'd like to see other things being developed apart from commanders, but I'm not going to complain all too much. And then there is, of course, the season level buyout. So you can pay to complete the season early by paying actual gold per level, which is never worth it and is only literally worth doing if you are very close to completing the season pass and you want to pay like, you know, 1,000 gold to be able to skip 4 levels to get the season rank 100 reward if you're never going to get there in the first place. So, but if you're doing it just to skip the entire thing, 25,000 gold is what it's going to cost you, and it is not worth it at all. Definitely not worth it. But let me know what you thought so far of the information that we've got, but we've got a little bit more information as to what's coming as well on the World of Tanks Discord, so let's have a quick look at that. So, having finished with the actual update news for the Season Pass, let's have a look at some of the other stuff that Wargaming have added on as part of the news. So, first things first, we have the T58 design process. So what they've said about the T58, they've basically said the 57 Heavy was very kind of popular. They said players were asking if they could have the T58. I said they've done it, and due to the time period, there were a lot of advances in technology, mainly weapons for shell penetration and performance, blah, blah, blah. A number of top tier tanks have been adjusted to fit within our game confines as their real world performance far exceeded than what you'd see in the actual game. So they dropped it to a 3 clip when it was actually a 6 round clip, because, you know, it wouldn't be fun to have, you know, 4,500 damage in a clip. I mean, maybe it would have been worth to put it in Cold War mode then. Maybe we'll even see the tank in Cold War mode at some point. But they used a real life version for inspiration, but we are an arcade game at the end of the day, and they've made changes to vehicle for balance and playability within the game, which is as you should be doing. You know, it's all well and good being like, let's make a historically accurate game, and then equally putting in the Le Mans Russ and, you know, the arachnid or whatever it's called with the giant spider skin. But you know, historical accuracy, and if it was historically accurate, something like a Tiger would be just playing up against the M4 Shermans, and yeah, would be very, very strong and almost really annoying to play against. But yeah, they have obviously gone for game balance, as I'm sure you guys would be very happy about, because it's not actually fun if there are just one overpowered tank that nothing can pen, and if you don't play it, you're going to be just literally hating yourself. I mean, at least they don't do that with the Centurion AVRE or any of those tanks like the Tyran, which was a Cold War tank, and put it into World War II. Either way, at least the T58 Heavy looks actually pretty balanced in my opinion. But obviously we'll have to see in the game. I don't want to make too much of a bold statement, but it doesn't look too overpowered. It looks okay, and I think it'll be fine. So, anyway, moving on. What else do we have? Well, Svorogorsk returns. So this is a snowy map that was released all the way back in the day, and it will be available from tier 3 all the way to era 3. So throughout both World War II and Cold War, you can play Svorogorsk basically in any tank that you play. So it's very, very good. Svorogorsk was one of my favourites, and it's nice to see in the game. And then, as part of this and the new map and what Wargaming are giving us information, they've actually said how the matchmaker picks a map being updated as well. So, we have reduced the number of tracked maps for the player's map played history from 10 to 4. So, what they're saying here is that they used to track what maps you played in your last 10 games. So, for example, you know, if you've played Mines, you know, Karelia, Prokhorovka, Malinovka, they'll basically keep track of what you've played and try and not put you into a game where you're playing the same map. But to allow for a larger pool of maps to select from, they've essentially reduced this amount of things so that you can essentially play more maps and not have to play the same one. So this will allow players to see more of a variety of maps to play from and improves the chances of new maps showing up for players. So it looks interesting. I'm liking the idea of this, but we'll have to see what it's actually like, because it could actually just make it 10 times worse and you're playing the same maps over and over again. The Italian and French tanks have new camos to pick from for each environment. So at least you get some new camos, I guess. There's the new phonetic alphabet inscription. So, of course, you can use that. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, blah, 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 I believe. And then you can essentially put that on your tank. And the Cold War players were waiting for this Cold War medals. Cold War medals are coming in this update on Tuesday. So it's nice to see. And of course, a selection of well-loved medals like Top Gun, High Caliber, blah, 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 have all been added from Tuesday. And there are exclusive medals on Cold War 2, which is from Tuesday. You'll be earning medals like Fire and Forget, Juggernaut, and Eagle Eye. Now, I'm assuming one of them will be for like a, I don't know, a missile or something like that. I'm assuming that that's what the Fire and Forget is. Maybe taking out a tank using a missile or something, I don't know. And then there'll be a update notes article next week early, so probably Monday, that I'll review so you guys can understand what exactly Wargaming are listing out with all of these things. So that'll be interesting, and it will cover all of the updates and improvements, etc. that they've got. And then also happening next week, so in remembrance of D-Day, it's time to storm the beach and earn yourself a new tank. Collect XP, and then you pick between the HMH, so this is the Heavy Metal Heroes AMX 1357, the P-Shooter French Tier 7 light tank, the Jackal M4A4 FL10, or the T56 Eagle, all of which are okay. I like the 1357 and the T26 these are the better ones, and the M4 FL10 is kind of meh, but yeah, definitely the ones I'd be looking at is the 1357, because it's something interesting, something a little bit different from the usual, and you can earn bonus points by destroying tanks in a British, French or American tank. So it's an earn operation for some tanks as well. And then there is, of course, for D-Day, extra tank bundles, so you can get some tanks for free, or tanks at 50% off usually. And the Road to Tank Fest 2023 begins. While we'll be holding off any major announcements for a little longer, we do have something to get us started. We'll be celebrating Aquino Tank Weekend. Destroy enemies starting next Friday and earn yourself our Aquino Tank Weekend emblem. Plus, if you happen to be at Aquino, our very own Tanksaws will be there, so make sure to say hi. And finally, the Needle contract returns as well. And then, of course, the final bit is the Q&A, which we'll have a look as well. So this is kind of something that I always like seeing, and hopefully we've got some good questions, because last week they answered quite a few really good questions, and it was definitely an interesting one to see. So first things first is, if we bump into our clanmates that are not in our platoon, is it possible to see their colours appear differently? So I will say I like this idea to quickly identify your clanmates, but what I will say is we are brainstorming with clan things that we can try out for next year. So we'll note this and add a ticket to it. So this is good. I think that would be a good idea, because sometimes you don't always see them in the game, and I think it would be nice. Any future plans for Equipment 2.0? Currently no, but we are having discussions. We are aware of the PC system, and we are aware of our players are wanting this too. It would be a great feature to the game, but there are currently no plans. So that's interesting. Do you have any plans to add field modifications into the game? It's something we've had active discussions on, and it's certainly a good idea to give players more choice as they launch into a match. It's a no. It's not a no, but there's no current plans right now. So they'll put a ticket in and keep this in the back of their mind. So it doesn't look like we'll get them anytime soon, but it could come at some point. Then Metal Slug collaboration, so that would be interesting. It's kind of a niche franchise. This would need discussion and negotiation to bring this to tank. So I wouldn't assume it would probably come in. It would probably be that they just release a one-off premium tank that is part of it, rather than like a big collaboration event that you'd expect. Are there still plans to add more tutorials to the game? It's certainly something we think about a lot. And certainly for the new players that join, to help them learn the game and understand how the game works, and get back to your original question, yes, we may have something coming in the next season. So I'm hoping this won't be this season, I don't expect. I think it will probably be the following season. So yeah, hopefully as much tutorials, as much information, just having a tutorial assistant that says, hey, look, these are the typical tank perks that you would pick first. These are the typical perks you'd pick first in the tank that you're selected. So for example, if you're playing a light tank, here you go. You'll definitely want 6th Sense. You'll definitely want camo. You will want view range. These are the sorts of things you should be looking at. Equipment wise, same thing. This is the sort of equipment you'd be looking at in a light tank, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to pick them. It could be completely up to the person who's playing. It's just, you know, there for new players to kind of get an idea as to what things they should be thinking about and what not to spend their money on. Because the amount of times I was playing at the beginning thinking, oh, I'm going to put on heavy spool liner or something on my heavy tank because it's supposedly amazing. But yeah, it doesn't actually really benefit you that much and is very, very niche unless you're playing in something like a mouse and you're just getting constantly artied or something like that. But yeah, it would be good to have something like that. Any updates for Cold War pricing and modules? So there is an ongoing investigation, but no further information to share at this time. I mean, for the amount of silver that you earn in the mode, I think the pricing is fairly decent. I don't think it's outrageous, but you know, it's expensive compared to World War II, but you are earning like double what you'd earn in World War II, so it's not actually that much of a difference. But I agree, you know, anything that they feel like would actually help would be good. Can you remove or make additional modes without 6th Sense? So this is a must-have skill for most tankers, so we won't ever remove this skill, but a mode without 6th Sense, this is interesting and we can take note of this. I mean, I don't really get why they'd make a mode without 6th Sense. Kind of pointless. I mean, that's basically Cold War, isn't it? Like, you can just see them anyway. I don't know. Seems like a bit of a camp fest, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be less of a camp fest because people aren't spotted and they have no idea if they're spotted. I just feel like it will just lead to less kind of intuitive gameplay and just more of kind of, oh well, I hope I'm not spotted, etc. But yeah, it is a must-have skill. I would use it on every single one of my tanks, regardless of what tank it is. Heavy tank, light tank, artillery, maybe not so much artillery because it literally just doesn't matter. But definitely any other tank rather than self-propelled gun, etc. So yeah, just use 6th Sense, please. The amount of players I've seen that are like, I don't use 6th Sense because it tells you you're targeted and that's why I have a 42% win rate, etc. And it's like, no, yeah, it gives you so much like extra additional information that isn't even just like, oh, I'm spotted. It's, oh, I'm spotted. The only place that someone can spot me from is this corridor. Therefore, there's someone in this corridor. Therefore, I know how to deal with them because I know which way I can go around the map to be able to deal with them. You know, having a 10% bonus to DPM doesn't provide you with that. It just means simply if you come up against someone, you reload 10% quicker. 6th Sense tells you both when to pull back, where someone is, when you get spotted, if it's something that has better view range than you, which means that you're going to be able to, you know what sort of tank it is. If you get spotted first and you're playing in a light tank, that usually means it's another light tank or a tank destroyer that's sat in a bush somewhere, which means you can pinpoint where you think they're going to be. There's so much information that you can get, whereas a targeted only tells you when you're actually aimed at. It doesn't tell you, like, if you get spotted, it's simply if someone's aiming at you, which isn't much use, especially when good players will actually aim off of you until they know that they're going to fire and then they'll shoot at you because they might be reloading or something. That's what artillery players always do. I always make sure that I aim slightly off to the side so it doesn't alert them with the artillery warning pop up, and then I move over when I'm reloading and fire, and that way they don't get as much of a warning to tell them that artillery is firing at them. Or if you're just in a normal tank, the targeting info. So definitely use 6th Sense. I see so many people saying, oh, I don't use it because there's a targeting, but trust me, if you use it for the complete opposite of what it's typically used for in terms of, oh, I'm spotted. If you use it for, oh, the player's over there, I know where I'm going to get spotted from. I come around this corner, I'm spotted, that means there's someone around that corner, etc. That is what it's for. Less so about knowing when you're spotted, because you can know that quite often. It's just the information that you get from the sixth sense that's the important thing. But yeah, a little bit of a rant over. Hopefully you guys use it. Please do it, and please try and use it for extra information, because information is what's going to win you games in World of Tanks. Because you can only get so good with one of these that, you know, you can only aim so good, you can only fire so quickly, because your tank has just simply got that cap to it. Whereas the knowledge in here is what's going to be able to get you to the next level, and what you'll see the difference between someone with like a 54% win rate and someone with a 65 or 70% win rate on average is going to be able to actually, it's their mentality and what they're thinking about, because you can only get so good at aiming or whatever, or knowing the weak points. Once you know them all, you can't do anything else. It's not going to benefit you anymore. But next thing. That was a big rant, but I feel like it was useful to anyone that is wanting to understand my mentality, or, you know, I'd be interested to see your guys' thoughts on it as well. Maybe, you know, my opinion isn't anything more than anyone else's, but that's my experience having played as much as I have, and having gone through the mistakes of not taking sixth sense back in the day to now, and realizing, yeah, it is just the best skill. It's better than having 10% more damage per minute. But either way, can we get an update on rank battles of any kind? So this is another thing for clan support initiatives and for talks next year. So nothing this year. Can you make friendly fire be able to be toggled on and off in custom games? Yes, we definitely look into more options like this in custom games, but it's not a priority because it is custom games. Not that many people use it, and there'd be better useful development in other areas of the game. Would you consider returning some maps to tier 10 matchmaking, or at least returning them for weekend tests? So yes, they do. And so they sometimes remove maps out of rotation, add some in for limited times. Exactly. So this is good. Will we ever see PC maps added to what console? If you have not seen the new season trailer, we'll be getting Nebelberg, which is available on World of Tanks PC. So we have recently worked out a way of importing maps from PC to answer your question. Yes. So yay, looks like we're going to be getting some more PC maps, which is always good. And of course, the more maps we have, the better it is going to be. And that does wrap up today's video, and an overwhelmingly good response from everyone on Discord, which, as I said last stream, or last video on the update news, was yet again very good as well. So it's usually not that way. It's usually 300 dislikes and like 10 likes, but this one is actually almost 10 for 1. So it's very, very good. And yeah, I think this is a good update. Looking forward to it. Doesn't look like there's any super overpowered tanks, which is good. I do like it when they start not introducing OP vehicles like the AVRE. Maybe they've learnt their lesson until the next one comes around. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think. And of course, yeah, just stay tuned, because there'll be a stream that I'll be doing soon on this silver event. And hopefully you'll join me on that in the next few days. So thank you very much, and I hope I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.